Thank you so much. Thanks so much for being here today. Um, I'm Reverend Carrie Kopnick, and I do a lot of things here at the Chaplaincy Institute, and it's wonderful to welcome you all here and to begin this beautiful process where we're going to come together and see what we can create. We lost our president, Bonnie, and she was going to open us, so I'll just say, if she hops in, Bonnie, just unmute and speak. But
I'm here.
Oh, good. Okay.
Great. So I invite us all just to take a deep breath, feel our feet on the floor, know that the Holy is with us, and invite that special guidance to be part of our conversation and our questions and our insight and our sharing. I appreciate each and every one of you. Without your special presence, our group, our community would not be the same. And for that, we are very grateful. May it be so. Amen.
So much fine. I'll open us with a little reading, open us with a little reading that Reverend Whitney Wilkerson shared with us on the listserv the other day. This is by Bell Hooks from All About Love, and let us be inspired by this energy. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move towards freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. That action is the testimony of love as the practice of freedom. We do this by choosing to work with individuals we admire and respect, by committing to give all to our relationships, by embracing a global vision wherein we see our lives and our fate as intimately connected to those of everyone else on the planet. So friends, a little overview of what we're going to talk about today. We're here together today as the ChI family to meet this moment. There's not a crisis, but there is a serious situation that needs to be tended. This institution, the Chaplaincy Institute, is too important not to reimagine what it can be, and so that it can thrive into the future. And I will tell you, I have no doubt that we can create this institution that we dream of. I am excited, and I hope that you are too. So the shape of the meeting today is that we'll hear from a bunch of different folks that are going to share information. Reverend Bonnie Lang, the ChI board president, and Robbie Parrott, board treasurer, are going to talk about the finances. Reverend Katrina Leathers is going to share what we know about that is related to the students for the next year. Reverend Rivka Gewurz will share about changes in programming. Reverend Michelle Gantz will share about admissions and how we are continuing to admit students. And I'll share information about candidates for ordination and the ecclesiastical endorsing faith group. Then we'll move to breakout groups. We'll have alumni and clergy, led by Jurgen, candidates for ordination for the spring by me, students with Katrina, stakeholders with Bonnie, and faculty with Rivka. All right. So everyone get comfortable. Here comes some information. I'm going to turn it over to Bonnie and Robbie, and I'm going to share my screen.
Thank you, Carrie. And we tried to make this pretty simple. What I see now, Carrie, is the community-wide meeting. So if we could move to the next one. Our financial picture in one page. So as Carrie mentioned, we do have some challenges and we have some hope. For those of you that have been involved with ChI over time, you're aware that we have had fragile finances before, and we have financial finances again. And so this is not the first difficult time we've gone through. We've always managed to make it through before. We just don't know how. So one of the contributors was that our enrollments this last year were down 50%. and other people doing personal growth programs such as ChI have also had similar experiences, so we're not alone in our challenge. At the moment, our current deficit spending is between $5,000 and $7,000 a month. So that is one thing that we have been working very hard to reverse and stabilize. We also had a lot of enthusiasm with the fundraising at the end of the year, particularly with the auction. However, we missed our goal. So that's another reality that we're living with. And we currently have a debt with our line of credit from the bank. We have aging accounts payable, and we owe some money on a credit card. So that's what the current financial picture is. Now, with that being said, the hope comes from, first of all, in 2024, we significantly paid down prepaid student payments, which was a model ChI had been using as part of our sustainability previously. So we have made tremendous strides on that. The auction brought in over $7,000, and I'd like to thank everyone for their contributions as well as their purchases and ability to generate community with that activity. The third thing, the staff expenses have been reduced so that the hours that we were paying previously has been reduced. Shay has left us very sadly, mostly for health reasons, and she is being, Carrie is coming in to pick up many of the things she was doing. And then one of the most exciting things is that our beloved Grace North Church in Berkeley, very sadly, is closing its doors, and they are gifting ChI approximately $80,000 of their value because the dissolution clause is to give their money to another nonprofit. So we don't know when that will happen. It'll be sometime early 2025. And the additional point I will make and then turn over to Robbie is that in the last month, we have increased our charitable donations by $1,000 a month, which really counts and shows that people are very enthused about ChI and supportive. So that's a very quick snapshot of a financial picture. And then I'm going to turn it over to Robbie, who will fill in a couple more, basically show these things in real numbers. Robbie?
Thank you, Bonnie. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Robbie Parrott, board treasurer, joined the board at the beginning of fiscal year 24. So wanted to go back and just put what Bonnie said about our current situation in context over about 3.5 fiscal year period. So what you're seeing in the numbers here is this is not a new challenge for ChI. It's not a recent development. It's not a novel thing that we have faced as an organization. So fiscal year 22 and 23 ended the years with negative net income. So we were accruing deficits year over year. Those deficits have to get funded somehow if you are going to continue operating. So these were funded by taking on more debt, so accruing more liabilities. As you can see, over the course of 22 to 23 to 24 to now, the total equity position, what that number represents is the accumulated deficits over years and years of operating. So we have an accumulated deficit that peaked in fiscal year 23 of $132,000. So as you can see, we actually are on paper moving in the right direction. We saw a positive net income at the end of 2024, and we have a positive net income fiscal year to date in 2025. The caveat, it's a little bit deceiving. As Bonnie mentioned, a couple of years back, there was a practice at ChI of taking upfront prepayments from students who would pay for, the duration of their program at the beginning of the program. So you would bring the cash in the door immediately, and you would book that cash, on our balance sheet as deferred tuition, or what Bonnie mentioned as sort of student prepayments. What happens, though, is that becomes a liability because we've taken the money, and we are then obligated to provide a service over the course of a year, 2 years, however long that student stays with us. So one of the things that when I joined the board in 2024, we realized that was a potentially problematic liability, and one we did not want accruing on the books, because what that means is if we were for some reason to have to unwind operations, if we had to do that in fiscal year 2023, we would have owed $120,000 of services to students who had prepaid, and there would have been no way for us to provide those services at that point in time. So one of the major goals over the last 18 months has been to whittle down that deferred tuition. So you can see now we only have about $5,000 on the books of deferred tuition. So that has been a big win for us financially. Unfortunately, we still do have liabilities, outstanding credit card debt, accounts payable, a line of credit that over the years has sort of ping-ponged in the same range of levels. So what happens is when we whittle down that deferred tuition, it gets recognized as revenue on our profit and loss statement, but the cash came in a prior period. So although it appears that we had a positive net income in 24 and year-to-date 25, because we've been pulling that deferred tuition onto the profit and loss statement, really we're cash negative for that period of time. We're generating a profit on paper, but that cash came in the door a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, potentially. So long story short, not to get too into accounting 101, we're headed in the right direction with some of our liabilities. We're headed in the right direction on paper with our total equity position. What we're really concerned right now is about cash flow, making sure we set up in a sustainable way to where ChI is not only positive from a net income standpoint on paper, but has a positive free cash flow to the organization so that we can continue to fund operations day to day, but our ultimate goal would be to build reserves, 90, 120, 180 days of cash on hand for future bumps in the road. So that is it for me. I hope I didn't get too wonky, and I'm always happy to answer questions if anyone wants to reach out to me. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you so much, Robbie. We're at max on our Zoom, and I think I just upgraded the account. So if anybody's getting messages that people are getting booted out, tell them to try again. All right. Thank you so much for the fiscal information. And let's see. I think the next person we wanted to hear from was Katrina about students.
Yeah, how about those impacts on students, which I'm sure you have been waiting to hear since you heard there was this big meeting coming up. So first of all, I'd like to say that all of us at ChI have been working nonstop to consider the impact on our existing students and how to make it all work for you all so you can hopefully, ideally, get the education that you came to ChI looking for. So in order to do that, we've looked at changes that are necessary, maybe not what we prefer, but necessary in order to continue the programming, at least for the next 13 months. But I want to first tell you a couple things that you don't even need to worry about. What is not changing is the ordination being recognized as an endorsing body. The ordination will still be recognized. This is for our ordained clergy too, of course. Extremely important that that's true. For students, there's no tuition increase coming for those of you who are enrolled at the moment. And the requirements for the ordination process are not going to change, and the requirements for the program completion are not going to change in a major way. So that's the things being stable piece mostly. Some things that will be changing. First of all, and the advisors have already heard this, and so they're forewarned, but we have to stop the current situation of advisors at ChI. They're going to be let go. They've already been informed about this, and they are amazing and such a wonderful part of our program. But they're not being assigned for the new students, and they're being, as of February, they will no longer be receiving the reflection papers from students. Midway reviews will in the future, except for, midway reviews starting now are going to be held with the two deans, Rivka Gevirtz and myself, and the community minister, Carrie. I believe that's the three that will be in there. And just so you know, some of this is still evolving. So everything I tell you is what we know at the moment, and anything that's uncertain, I will say that. Your core competencies panel, in the future, for the current ordination candidates, you've already heard this information, but for future ordination candidates, the panel for the core competency assessment will include the community minister and possibly two community ministers. Although another piece that we're looking at is to create a mentoring program to fill in some of the places where the advisors have been support for students. And we're actually really excited about a new version of what that would be, with mentors with sort of a different role than the advisors had. So that's one area of change for current students. The other one is the retreats. So previously we had 2 retreats required per person, per student for the chaplaincy program. One of them had to be done on site in California. The retreat that's coming up starting April 28th and going through May 2nd or 3rd, 2nd, ordinations on the 3rd, that may be our last on-site retreat. We don't know for sure, but it might be. So we really want all of the current students who haven't done their retreats yet to come to that retreat in the spring in Santa Cruz, because it's beautiful and glorious and wonderful connective time. And if you can make it to that retreat, that would be really good. If you have not, I'll give more detail in the student breakout room anyways, but I think that's enough for now. Those are the basic pieces, and I'll get into more details in the breakout room with students.
Thank you, Katrina. Appreciate it. All the detail. Rivka, let's hear from you about the program.
Thanks, Carrie. So one of the things I want to just lift up to start is that we have heard time and time and again for years how much the students value the education that we provide, value the teachers that we have. The reality is faculty is one of our largest expenses. And so what we have to do is look at how to provide the excellent level of education we're giving in a different way, in a way that is more cost effective for us to become sustainable. So what we are looking at is starting June, a new format for how we deliver that education. For those of you who've been through the program recently, you know that we have some classes that are on Moodle and some that are on Zoom. We're shifting that a little bit so that there's less confusion and more containment, in that we will have all of the lectures and homework will now be Moodle based, and the flavor of the Zoom time, the online time, will be tighter. It will be much more interactive. It'll be an opportunity for Q&A over the asynchronous learning, as well as experiential learning in the moment, with more of a conversational and interactive relationship with the faculty. What that'll also do in the model that we're proposing is that time with faculty on the weekends will be more concise. Instead of 2 to 3 days of classes that last 2 to 3 hours, the live portion will be 1-hour seminars with the teacher of that particular class, and it will be an opportunity, as I said, for more of an active engagement rather than sitting through a lecture. That'll be the lecture portions, as well as the reading portions, will all be housed on our Moodle platform. We don't know yet what 2026 will look like. If this new model works and doesn't require too much tweaking, we can foresee it going into the future. But this is an experiment, both in terms of our ongoing financial stability and trying on a new way of doing this. But we can anticipate that it is likely that classes that are currently offered twice in a year will probably only be offered once in a year. We are potentially going to look at some additional models, such as weekend workshops that'll be much more concise, and that will be accessible for alum as well as current students. And eventually we may look at how we organize the classes. We're not ready to do that yet, but at some point we may want to look at more of a tiered structure where we have a focus on personal enrichment that is nuanced differently than professional development. So we're in a time of exploration and looking at, what does this moment call for all of us. We'll go into much more detail in the faculty conversation, but that's the overview for right now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate it. Exciting stuff. Is Michelle here? I didn't see her face, but I've got a bunch of screens open to talk about admissions. No, I know she's been traveling. The fact is we are continuing to admit students. We're continuing to reevaluate exactly how that happens. And please continue to send your loved ones and your candidates or people who might be interested our way. Michelle is happy to meet with them. Any of us are happy to meet with them. And that'll continue to evolve. It's going to be a rolling situation for right now. So then it's me with information about the change in the community and in ordination. And as Katrina said, the ordination retreat and ceremony are unchanged. Full stop. We'll be there, we'll be on site, we'll have a wonderful, beautiful thing. But right now, Katrina is holding the community minister role for the core competency evaluation panels. So she is managing, the papers and who's going to meet when and with who. And it's an incredible loss for me not to read all those papers, but I really appreciate my beloved colleagues stepping in to do that. It's a turnkey situation. But unfortunately, Katrina is not able to be at the ceremony on May 3rd. So her brother's getting married. So I'll officiate that ceremony, or somebody who is beloved to our people will if something happens. But anyway, that's all going to be handled. Things will not be changing. As far as the faith group endorsing body goes, we are not making any changes. But in the 4 years that I've been the community minister, the board has always charged us to have a plan B in place so that in an abundance of caution to make sure that our endorsing body is always solid and stable. So I'm going to invite our clergy community to engage in a process of creating an even more detailed plan B, just in case. Jürgen's going to lead the breakout room for that, and we've been in conversation for weeks now about exactly what that would look like. It's absolutely possible and has some exciting options that should that happen, it's not ever going to be all bad. So ready for your questions about that. I know it's very important for our clergy. It's your jobs, it's your board certification, and we're not going to let anything bad happen. Okay. That's a lot of statement, but I believe it's true. So now it's time for our breakout. And I want to share that it's really clear that each demographic in our ChI family has very different needs. So this will be a time to share more detailed information about what we know, and then to focus on your needs. As you're in that group, please take a moment to identify one person who can share 5 words or a sentence with a greater group to recap what came out of the conversation, just so we all have an understanding about what we're concerned about. And I want you to know that we will have a time soon for students to get together to share their concerns. And while you're in these groups, the other groups could also choose to ask for a time to get together and talk some more. Okay. It looks like we do have people coming in beyond 100. Who would have thought we only had 90 people register, and I was not even thinking about that. So thank goodness we can zip around and get Zoom to update. So I will open the breakout rooms right now, and you can choose the room that you want to go to. Again, students, spring candidates for ordination, stakeholders, alumni, clergy, spiritual directors, and faculty. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you were able to have the conversations that you needed to have. I'm sure it wasn't long enough.
It was very rich, and we were in the middle of it, and very helpful. We, have a bunch of things to report when it comes to that.
Okay. Well, let's start with you, Jürgen. I'd love to hear just a line or two about what the alumni conversation, or from whoever you chose in your.
Yeah, Ruth volunteered to give our report. Lisa, Ruth.
Hi, everyone. So our group was full of generosity, and because we were limited to 5 words, I'll just say it was volunteer, community teachers, which is a little bit of a cheat, expertise, living legacy, and giving back.
Thank you. Thank you. How about for us? Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. How about for our students?
We did not designate somebody to collect 5 words. So if any of the students present want to throw out a word or 5, please do, but fairly quickly. And if we don't have them, we don't.
Say, trust the process.
Trust.
Adapt.
We're right behind you guys.
Flexibility.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's hear from faculty.
And we also did designate someone, so I will make the same invitation to those who are present if you have something you want to lift up from our conversation.
It's not really going to be less if we do it right.
Precious and beautiful. I was with the candidates for ordination, and of course we didn't designate anyone either. I'm so impressed with alumni that you remembered to do it, and I made the rule. So beloved candidates for ordination, does anybody want to speak briefly?
We had lots of joy in that room.
Yeah, I would say grief and joy and understanding and reassurance and commitment. Some of the things I heard.
And formation.
That was Carrie saying that.
All ministerial formation. True. Thank you, everyone. I am deeply moved by what's come out of our time together. And we'll continue to process. It's a lot. We'll continue to process and work together. Well, oh my God, I'm really emotional. Thank you, everybody. Wow. So this is exactly what I want to say, is how I'm going to invite you to get in where you fit in this ChI transformation working group. This isn't all, but this is a place to start where I'm going to invite us all to join in, figure it out. So the first transformation working group to get in where you fit in is Re-envisioning ChI. How can ChI become financially stable? What is it that ChI does that no other organization in existence does? And what are the emerging needs in the current culture that ChI can meet? And the charge for this group is to dreamstorm into how we can step into the needs of the world and what practical elements are needed to sustain the Chaplaincy Institute. The next is community care. This is care and support for the community, and the charge is to identify what the community needs to weather this financial challenge in the transition time as the changes are made, and enact systems to provide this support. So strengthen the community with increased engagement for our people. So what is that? Is that book groups? Is that film discussion groups? Is that circles of care? Is that classes with Tina Rowe? Another place to get in where you fit in is Fiscal Rapid Response. This is a group that can source funding to clear our current debt and stabilize ChI as we become financially sustainable. The charge is to lead the fundraising campaign to solicit money. I'm not afraid of money. Money is a tool that we use. It's like Zoom. It's a tool we use to do this work to heal and transform the world. So this group will lead the fundraising campaign to solicit money from individual donors within and outside the ChI community, from family foundations and any other sources that are available. The next group to get in where you fit in is Clergy in Good Standing. The board has required, I'll say it again, the board has required a plan B to be in place for all the 4 years I've been here. How does that need to be updated? What might be needed to maintain the APC compliant faith group endorsing status? And the charge is to develop a concrete plan that assures ChI clergy continue to have their ecclesiastical faith group endorsement, including the SIGS process. How would that element be managed, by whom, 501c3 status, and what to be sure we're in compliance with the requirements of chaplain employers, board certifying bodies, and schools to meet that sometimes. And then the last place I'm gonna share with you is where you could get in, where you fit in, is partner schools and organizations. Identify schools and organizations that ChI could collaborate with that will serve our mission. To collect options, work with the board and staff to connect with the appropriate people and departments in these organizations. I'm so excited for these groups to form. You can email any one of the staff. You all know it's our first name at chaplaincyinstitute.org. And I will send out a survey after our meeting with the recording and the resources shared with a form you can fill out to say, this is where I can fit in. Now, if you see that there's someplace else, you know, I've got this magical talent and I want to use this opportunity to put my shoulder to the wheel, let me know, let us know. We are here to hear. I mean, this community is amazing. And I think when we pull together, the magic will happen. All right, I'm going to talk just a little bit more and then we're going to be done. I know this is a lot of talking. Let me share my screen again. What can we do today, right now, this moment, when we're done with this call? Be an ambassador for ChI. Are there people in your life who you know would be a great fit with ChI? Reach out to them, send them to the next open house, the next ChI talk, send them our YouTube channel. Let's talk about how much this place means to you. Recurring donations. Remember, I'm not afraid of money. Money is a tool that we use to meet our mission to heal and transform the world. The recurring donations that came in with our 25th anniversary fall fundraising campaign were amazing. We're at $1,000 a month of recurring donations. So anything, $10 a month makes a huge difference. If all 300 of us gave $10 a month, that's $36,000 a year. If you can give more, please do. But if we all chip in, the power in our numbers is incredible, and it offers us such stability month to month. Or also connect ChI donors in your life. I know people who view donating as a spiritual practice, philanthropy as part of what they do to make the world a better place. If you know some of those people, put them in touch with us, put them in touch with me. I'd love to sit down and have a conversation with them. And then this is where our magic comes in. Can you offer prayer? Can you do ritual? Can you send good energy to the people of ChI, to our ChI family, to each of us, to the members as we move through this divided time in our culture, and for the well-being of this beloved institution? All hands to the pump. Let's get in where we fit in. What a wonderful time. I think we're actually going to finish early, so I'll stay on for questions. But in a little ritual of closing, I want to invite us to do what we did in the first days of Zoom. And if you want to put your hands to the side of where your Zoom screen is, so we can all touch hands here in this beloved community and feel the love flow between us, one to the other. We are so connected, friends. We are strong. We are fierce. We're not going anywhere. Hands on our hearts. As we move into this next stage, we need all of our hearts and our minds and our prayers and our wisdom. Everybody in the ChI community, from the people who have just enrolled this week to those of us that were ordained in 1999. The truth is that your community ministers come and go, the deans come and go, board presidents come and go, faculty sometimes, although not all of them, come and go. But what remains is you, the ChI community. To be very honest, that is who we, ChI staff and leaders, serve. You. So as you prepare to meet this moment, let's square our shoulders and get ready to dig in. I just can't wait to see what happens from there. I'm so excited. And what I have to say is, let's go. Many, many blessings to you all. So much love. I'll stay on if you have any questions. We'll share the recording. Take such good care. Love, love, love you all.